Hey, welcome to Chinos. That's the wrong button, you dumpling. Oh, you just right. Right. What's happened today? Well, I upset somebody today. His name's Dean Toner. Well, at least his name on Facebook is. And I was trying to talk to him about XY chromosomes. He actually blocked me. I think I pushed him too far. The thing that it's a pity really because he blocked me and all the dialogue got, well, I don't know if it is gone. I can't see it anyway. So if anybody wants to have a go and look, I don't know if he deletes me. Does that mean? Don't know if that works. If he deletes me, like blocks me from his page, does that mean all the material disappears? I'm not sure actually. Anyway, never mind. Try not to get too worked up about it. Basically, the XY chromosome thing, which started basically with J.K. Rowling. She's been campaigning for women's rights, although she hasn't been. There's a lot more to that XY chromosome thing. A lot of thick people are latching onto it. They don't know anything about genetics. They haven't a clue what they're talking about. So what I was talking to him about was not so much what I want. He just wasn't. This guy just wasn't. He wasn't really listening at all. He was kind of like reacting in a really bad way all the time. And I was trying to. So what I'm trying to do is remain right. So when you're in the corporate world, you can't swear and you can't really belittle people because you could land up in front of HR. So I'm not in the corporate world, and most people, a lot of people, well, people in here often aren't. Some of them might be, but more than likely they're not. So I think that's the main difference. Is I just wondered if it was on there. So I'm learning. I know the way I speak on the videos is not good enough for the corporate world because I swear and stuff like that, Anyway, so this guy got in a real huff and blocked me, and basically, I don't know what his problem was, but the XY and XX chromosome thing, it's mind-boggling if you really look into it. It's just not. And what's in store in the future is like, wow. And you've got to remember things like, if your heart's fucked nowadays, right? You can actually get a heart transplant. Can you imagine that? Or a liver transplant. Can you imagine that years ago? There's absolutely no way you would survive if if that packed in. So if you think about that, and then think about, gender, well, sex stuff, gender, XY chromosomes, XX chromosomes, all different things like that. There's so much been done, and there's so much development. So what I'm saying to people is try and have an open mind. It doesn't mean to say you have to accept LGBT ideology or any of that stuff. You don't, but you should still have an open mind, and you should, learn. Don't, like this guy that blocked me. He was just putting up like brick walls up. He just didn't want to know. As far as he was concerned, it was all bad. I was bad because he's sort of seen me as part of that, which I'm not. But he didn't really want to listen to me, or he didn't really want to find out anything from me, or was it him? As far as he was concerned, he was coming across as being quite thick actually. Right, okay, right. So you can't really do much more about that because I can't see the information. But this is about this electric car thing. I find the electric car thing is, well, it's the same sort of thing. You've got fanatics. So I'm not fanatical about chromosomes and the LGBT stuff and trans stuff. I'm not fanatical about it. I'm willing to sit there and have an open mind about it. And if you think it's stupid, I'll agree with you. I'm not going to sit there and and defend it. So that's not what I'm going to do. So now this is a long chat about the electric car. So it's Paul Joy. So this is the. I'll just read out what's said, and then we'll do a quick. So Paul Joy says to me, to Lucinda, "Okay, here's the data you need. Tesla Model Y." And we were talking about running costs of electric cars here. So we'll start off by what I said to Wildstar Man. Grant Osland couldn't answer this effectively. None of you can. The Institute of Cost Analysis will be too happy to help you come up with the correct statement. But to get started, you need to come up with the total. This is good information. The total, and stick with this. Total cost of ownership, TCO, and then divide that by miles covered. For instance, a £55,000 Tesla plus 8p of electricity covering 1 mile would mean it costs you 55,008 pence per mile. Obviously, I won't know your mileage, but for the average person, that's 50 pence per mile. So that's what I'm trying to do here is ground these people, because they're coming away with misleading information, because they're getting this, that, or the other. They're not coming up with the full costs of their electric cars, and they're using false information to win arguments. So this Paul Joy comes in. He steps into the argument, or whatever it might be. Mark Xavier, he's got the right idea. Driving a diesel. Much better range, a couple of minutes almost anywhere in the world. Right. So, Paul Joy. Okay, here's the data you need. Tesla Model Y, £44,990. BMW 4 Series, £44,195. Tesla consumption works out at 2.5 pence per mile. So I said 50 pence, he's saying 2.5 pence per mile. Home charging, brackets, with no manufacturer's service schedule. So he's saying there's no servicing on a Tesla. BMW is around 40 miles per gallon with servicing every 5 to 10,000 miles, totalling around £11,000 over 10 years. I look forward to your TCO figure, says Paul Joy. Lucinda to Paul. BMW quick TCO, 59-year lifespan, manufacturing costs across 50 years, £800 per year. Fuel costs about £1,000. Servicing £250. EV service life 15 years. That's a service life, 15 years. £3,000 per year to own it. The electricity costs about £250 per year at 23 degrees centigrade on the flat. So that's not including living in really cold places like up north and everything like that. Paul Joy, 59-year lifespan, question mark. Let's keep it real. Say I would own each car for 10 years. What's the TCO of each then? See, so now you're getting into, he's got to stick to 10 years because of electric cars, because of the batteries. So now you're getting into, obsolescence. So it's got a built-in obsolescence. So the car is scrap after 10 years. But never mind, we'll carry on. Lucinda to Paul. One of my cars is 46-year-old and perfectly serviceable. The figures are above. $20,050 for ICE BMW and $30,250 for BEV, and that's with the taxpayers' assistance so far, but that's going to change very soon. So just with a sort of rough count, the BMW is the Tesla is 10 grand more over 10 years to run than the BMW. So then somehow I answer again. It's all above. That is cost per mile, includes wear and tear. We can't take you seriously if you believe that Tesla's. So he deleted one of his comments, and in it he quoted that Tesla's servicing over 10 years is free. So he put like a 0 on it. He's went and deleted it, right? That's why there's two answers there. If you really believe that Teslas don't have any running costs, so he was saying there was no running costs with a Tesla. Battery care, tyres, brakes, bulbs, updates, component failures. You can't just blatantly lie. Quick TCO, 59-year lifespan, manufacturing costs across 50 years, £800 per year. Fuel costs about £1,000. Servicing £250. EV service life 15 years, £3,000 per year to own it. And electricity costs about £250 per year at 23 degrees centigrade on the flat. Paul, did you actually read my post? To Lucinda, Paul Lucinda. You seem very quick to call people a liar. Well, that's because it was lies, you know. I mean, how can you say at 10 years that Elon Musk is going to let you drive around in a Tesla and he's going to service it and repair it all for free for 10 years? Anyway, never mind. I said both cars will have wear and tear, so I won't factor those in on either. There's no reason why either one would have more wear and tear than the other. As long as BMW is regularly serviced, as both will require suspension components, tyres, glass, etc. etc. You don't actually seem to have a clue what you're talking about and start name calling when you get called out on it. Lucinda to Paul. You sound like you're part of the motor industry selling EVs, and really TCO is over the life of the vehicle. With electric cars, the battery is always going to overshadow everything else about it, and it is going to have to be changed at some point. So if you're going to factor in cost per mile in a shorter time period, you will have to factor in the cost of a replacement battery, or part thereof. As to energy usage, the 250 watts quoted frequently is not borne out in practice, as the heater uses 1 kilowatt to keep you warm, and therefore the running costs, even with reduced servicing, are still the same as ICE vehicles. Paul to Lucinda. You're talking total rubbish. Do you honestly expect an average BMW owner is going to own a car for 56 years? That's 560,000 miles on the same engine. Batteries are no more likely to suddenly die than an engine is to suddenly fail. Sure, it can happen in both cases, but it's not a given. By my calculations, running an EV for 10 years at 10,000 miles per year would provide a cost saving of almost £25,000. Anyway, so even if you were unlucky, you could replace it and still be better off, he says. Oh, and you're wrong about energy usage as well. In the last 18 months, I've done about almost 15,000 miles, and my average power usage is 246 watt hours per mile. So stop spouting misinformation as if you know what you're talking about. Paul to Lucinda. TCO is not the same. How can it be when an ICE vehicle doing 10,000 miles a year costs over £2,500 a year more to run? Why are you obsessed with denying the reality of this issue? You're locking yourself in a small echo chamber of denial and not taking in any of the information that you are getting. I guess you're simply the type of person that thinks that sticking your fingers in your ears and shouting la 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 will make everything be the way you want it to be. I'll let my friend know. He'll be super pleased when tell him, as you said, he can pop to the Ford dealership and demand to replace his broken engine for £3,500 and not the £24,000 they have quoted him. It seems to be a comment missing, because he was on about his friend's engine went in the Ford Ranger. The displayed watt hours mile includes heating, and other driving related systems include air conditioning in the warmer months. As I said, my average after 18 months and 15,000 miles is currently 249 watt hours per mile. Something you said is impossible, but again, you cannot allow that information to enter your echo chamber of negativity. Yeah, I don't know where that comment went about the... He's obviously deleted it, unless it's hidden somewhere. Lucinda to Paul. I assume you have heard of the phrase projection. Everything you're saying is a projection of your own actions. You don't seem to understand that. I realise you have bought into electric cars, but for the rest of us they are useless. The only reason you have one is because the green lunatics in charge of the asylum. As for TCO, you're going to have to buy new batteries. That is what kills your costs. I can't speak to your driving style, as I mentioned before. Personally, I don't enjoy driving with two overcoats on to eke out my battery power. Paul Lucinda. Oh, it's projection, is it? I'm talking from experience owning 2 electric vehicles. How many have you owned? I'm assuming you must actually have some experience to back up your claims. I've explained that batteries generally have an 8 to 10 year warranty, far beating combustion engine guarantees, and that even if they do fail for some reason after 10 years, an EV owner will have saved enough from not burning petrol and easily cover the cost of replacement battery. I've also given you an example of showing combustion engines also fail with equally high repair costs, so neither vehicle type is free from risk. Even after explaining all of the above and the cost benefits of owning an EV, you still assume that I drive one because of green lunatics. Yes, again, that echo chamber seems to be drowning out anything you're actually hearing in the real world. Lucinda to Paul. This is the last one. Sorry, you have provided a couple of examples with no proof. And I'm fairly sure I can find examples of an EV using megawatts an hour of power. What is it, MWH again? I forgot. What's that stand for? MWH. The running costs for an EV are the same as an ICE vehicle, but once you are into buying new batteries, the costs are enormous, of which will happen to every EV fleet owner. ICE vehicles engines extremely rarely fail. I have 4 vehicles. One has a 45-year-old petrol engine still working fine. The 30-year-old Volkswagen engine van still working fine. And the 2 engines of my 2007, 2011 Citroens working perfect. Some engine designs can be problematic. Failure in design engineering, not ICE vehicles. For example, some 3-litre 2.7 over-torqued V6 diesel Range Rover, wet belt engines, Citroen, Ford, Peugeot. You are stuck with a battery which, by its very nature, is dangerous. So what I'm saying there is, yes, some engines do fail. It's a design problem, and the 2.7 diesel engine that was in the Citroens and Peugeots, or it's a 3-litre V6 TDI or whatever it was, fails in Range Rovers and Land Rovers, and that's something to do with I think it's something to do with the torque of the Land Rover. It's just not suitable for that car, so that's a design flaw. So it's not necessarily a flaw in ICE vehicles. So, you know, and the wet belt engines and Fords and that can be problematic as well. So you've just got to be in the know and be careful if you're thinking about buying. So the engines I've got in my cars, the old Ford, it's a V6 3-litre S6 engine, it's fine. The 1600 HDI engine in the C3 Citroen I've got is perfectly suited to that car. I did have trouble with the last Picasso I had, which isn't suited to that car. So turbo failure and things like that, and problems with the emission system. The 2-litre diesel engine in the C4 Grand Picasso is perfectly matched to that car. So if you buy an ICE vehicle properly, you shouldn't have trouble with the engine. Obviously, you've got to make sure the belt gets done when it's supposed to be done or before. So a bit weird. There's 2 of his comments have disappeared. I am actually slightly suspicious sometimes of Facebook. Sometimes so this guy. Alright, so that'll do for now. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye! Bye! Not much fucking joy going on there.